Hey friends, it's Nick here, and today I want to talk about something that bugs me all the time because I do it so much. I have a feeling you do it a lot too. And it's not exactly procrastination, it's kind of like facing the fear that is deep inside of a thing that you know you need to do. So what exactly does that even really mean? So essentially, internally, our gut has this moment each day, and anytime you give it awareness, right? And we usually try to distract ourselves with our phones, Netflix, whatever, anything that we can do to get our mind away. Often even semi-productive work or things that are important for us to do become the thing that we focus on instead of that one thing internally that your gut is telling you you need to do. What does that look like for me today? Well, the reason I brought this up was today is tax day for me. And I woke up this morning, I looked at my to-do list, it wasn't very long, had 3 things on it. First one was exercise, and while I was exercising internally, I was thinking about the fact that I needed to pull all this stuff together for taxes. And I got back from the gym and showered, sat down, and do you think I started working on my taxes? Take a guess. The answer is no. Obviously, I did not. I sat there, I was like, oh, you know what? There was a book I was reading yesterday and I've only got like 1 chapter left. Why don't I finish reading that book? Why don't I just pull open the pages and do that instead of actually doing my taxes? Oh, and guess what? I read the book. I finished it. Like, let's be real. I did it. I'm sure this is the same kind of thing you do all the time. You have that moment where you know in your gut what the thing is you need to do, and it's something you don't want to do, and so you don't do it. Then I made some breakfast, went upstairs, sat down, and my parents are in town right now, and my dad immediately started talking. And I knew as soon as he started talking to me that I was going to spend more time not doing my taxes. So I had this internal moment of reflection, right? I had this moment of clarity while I was talking to my dad, and internally I said, you know, I really do want to talk to my dad. I'm excited that he's in town here. Like, I don't get to see him. I think the last time I saw my parents was 6 months ago. So I'm really excited to get to spend time and see them. So it'd be really easy for me to justify the act of talking to them rather than doing the thing that I need to do. Yeah. So I smiled at my dad. I gave him a hug. I said, I love you. He said, what are you up to today? I said, my taxes. I'm gonna do them now. And he kind of gave me like a high five, you know, like the dad high five. And I sat down and I started doing my taxes. So how is this useful for you? Why am I telling you this story? Well, I realized through this whole kind of process internally of analyzing what's going on with me and thinking about why do I do this? What is in human nature that causes us to do this? So I'm gonna kind of go through 2 things with you. One is how to reflect and really understand internally what's going on so that you can have moments of clarity yourself. The second is how to actually create a plan so that you take action and do the thing internally that you know you need to do, all right? So first things first, how do you kind of face and realize when you have something important you need to do that you do not want to do? Right? There's 2 tricks that I found. Number 1, whenever you wake up or you're in the shower or you're in the bathroom and your brain goes to that place where it tells you there is something you need to do. And it's the kind of thing that makes you uncomfortable doing usually, right? It's not usually something that's fun. It's not usually something that's exciting. And even if it is something that you know you'll have fun when you get started, there's usually a lot of fear associated with it, right? There's often this sense of dread about this thing. Why was I not looking forward to taxes? There was something about knowing that I needed to go through my bank statements to figure out what I was going to expense, right? Thinking through that process. Or I was actually talking to my aunt while I was doing it, and she has a couple horses and was like thinking about what she had spent on horses in the last year, and that makes her uncomfortable, right? We all have these things, whether it's because we didn't make as much money as we wanted or because we don't want to look at how we actually spent our money, specifically related to taxes, but these things kind of flow out in other areas of life too, right? Like, let's say there's homework that you need to do or studying you need to do, or there's a project at work you need to do. Most likely the reason you're holding back from doing the important thing and doing easier stuff is because that actual important thing causes fear to spike. It causes this internal reaction of, oh boy, like shit. I don't want to see this thing, or I'm not going to do a good job at this thing. It's usually one of those 2 kind of areas. It's I don't want to face it, I don't want to deal with it, or when I start to do it, I know I'm not going to do as good of a job as I want to, right? Filming a YouTube video can be a really scary thing for people. Public speaking can be a scary thing for people. Going to take an exam, whatever it is, something that's going to change your life in that moment that you think you are not very good at, it's going to terrify you. Cleaning out the garage, cleaning the attic, you know, these kinds of things, cleaning up your hard drive on your computer, starting back on a gym routine. All these things that you know are going to be painful at first also cause that fear. So there's this great book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. If you haven't read it, I'll put a link below so that you can check it out. But essentially, the idea behind that book is that the morning, first thing in the day, do the thing that's the hardest for you. And I'm not gonna tell you when to do your hard thing. That's not for me to decide. Some of you will have time in the morning, maybe you don't have that time. That's okay. The point is to be very aware of your internal gut telling you the thing that you are afraid to do, right? Like having that moment of recognition. That's the thing that actually is the trigger. So step one, the most important piece in this is the awareness of what that thing is that is making you uncomfortable and making you afraid, right? What is that thing that you do not want to do, but know in your heart that you must do? So write that down. Step one, write that down. If you have something right now, pause this video, write it down, okay? Do it. All right. Now the second stage is how you actually get into the act of doing the thing, because often we're very aware of what the most important thing is. Maybe you have a productivity system that tells you what your most important task is for the day. Maybe you have this guiding principle in your life that says every Sunday I need to do this thing, right? Every Monday I need to go to this place and go to the gym, and it's in your schedule, it's in your calendar, you've booked it, you've written it, your family's expecting you to be in this place at this time, and today you do not want to do it. How do you actually get over that hurdle to do the thing you don't want to do? All right, it's actually pretty simple. And the key is you're gonna trick yourself. That's simple. You're gonna trick yourself. How do you do that? So you start by creating what people call the tiny slice, the minimum slice, the barest amount of the thing to get started. You trick yourself by saying, I am not gonna do this entire thing right now. So I'll give you a few examples. If your thing is going to the gym this morning, you are not gonna tell yourself you're gonna work out and do 50 reps and look at this giant workout you have to do. You're gonna do a combination of two things. Number one, put on your gym clothes, and number two, get out the door. That's it. You're gonna go. You're gonna leave your house, you're gonna go start doing the thing. For me, all I had to do to start doing my taxes, I told myself I was gonna open my laptop and I was just gonna download one thing from my bank. I was just gonna look at my statement from last year and pull it in so that I started collecting things and saving them into my downloads folder that I needed to do. And guess what? As soon as I started to do that, it didn't feel so bad anymore. It started to get easier. It started to get a lot easier. 30 minutes later, I was like halfway through collecting everything, right? 2 hours later, I had everything organized. I was pulling things into spreadsheets. I wasn't thinking about it after I got started. Because the most important thing when you are feeling that fear of something you don't want to do is to start taking action. There's a lot of psychology around why this works, but the very simple version is that as a human being, your brain and your body work in completely separate alignment zones. They're not connected. We think they are, but they're not, right? You've probably heard that if you smile, you start to feel happy, or if you're feeling happy, you'll start to smile. Why is that the case? It's because these are two actually separate systems. So your brain telling you don't want to do this thing and feeling the fear is completely different from your body's ability to go do the thing that you need to do. And whether that thing is call someone that you don't want to have a difficult conversation with, whatever it is, you got to go and just start doing it, because if you take the action, if you train yourself to just begin taking that action, the process of doing the thing will happen immediately. Your brain shuts off as soon as you have started to do the thing. And what's holding you back from doing this difficult thing is your brain, not your body's ability to do it, right? The desire to go to the gym in the morning, that's your thing. Guess what? Your brain's probably not gonna wake up and be like, yeah, let's go get it today. Your brain's probably gonna be like, I'm tired, I'm full, I've got other stuff I need to do. You're gonna come up with any excuse because your brain's really good at finding the reasons for you not to do the thing. So there's another great book, and it's called The War of Art. And essentially the concept in The War of Art is that, and I'll link this below as well. The concept is that your brain, your ego and your brain will find whatever method is the most effective for you to prevent you from taking the change in your life that you need to make. So what does that actually mean? It means that if you do not want to get in shape and the gym is your thing, or if I need to be more financially responsible and doing my taxes are my thing, my brain will come up with all of these reasons not to do that thing that directly relate to who I am as a person. It'll be like, Nick, you're making a bunch of money, you don't need to worry about your taxes. Or it'll be like, hey Nick, you've got another week, you got another 10 days, it's not that important to do right now, you can wait till the last minute. And that's why we procrastinate. That's why we end up in these positions where we're unhappy with ourselves, because we waited to the last minute to do the thing, and then we either do run out of time to do it, in which case we say, well, I couldn't do it this time, I ran out of space, or the unexpected comes up, right? You end up getting injured or sick, or a family member needs you, and you can easily say, oh, I didn't have time to go to the gym this morning, my son was not feeling well, I had to take care of him. And even though you had that hour you could have worked out before he got up, your brain writes it off as like, I'm staying safe, I'm staying happy. That is resistance, and resistance will do whatever it can your entire life to kick your ass, period. There is no magic switch after overcoming something. You can flick it, and then all of a sudden resistance is gone. You can't turn off that light switch. It does not happen. Resistance will always come back. If you take a weekend off of doing whatever it is that you love doing and it becomes harder, resistance is crept right back in. It happens with the gym, it happens with financial stuff, it happens with work, it happens even with calling people, it happens with connecting with friends and family that can be difficult. You can go through these periods where you're really confident and you're on top of the things you want to be doing, and then wake up one day and realize, oh, I haven't done that thing in a week. I'm scared of it now. It's hard for me. And especially for the things that matter the most, they will be the most difficult to do because resistance will be the greatest towards those things. All right. So to summarize with all of this, step one, write the thing down in your phone, on a piece of paper, on a sticky note, whatever, does not matter. And number two, write it down as soon as you think about it too. Okay. I don't want you to wake up and have a certain time you write these things down. As soon as it pops in and you're like, oh, I need to do this thing, write it down. And then number two, as soon as you possibly can, take the smallest, the tiniest amount of action and do the thing. Start right there. Do it. Doesn't have to be a lot, right? As I said, it's putting on your gym shoes and walking out the door. It's opening up your laptop and starting the thing. Pulling out my camera here and making it easy for myself and starting the project. All right? That is your process forward. That is your way. That is your guiding light for how to do this. It's easy. It's terribly hard, but it's easy. And the reason it's easy is because you are disassociating your brain, right? You're disconnecting that part of your brain that doesn't want to do the thing from the part in your body that is physically capable of doing it, because they are not connected. They are not the same. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. If you have anything that you want to ask, any other questions, anything that you found is effective for you, leave them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, you enjoy the channel. Please engage with me. I want to hear from you. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.